Anaxagoras the Foolish has enough knowledge to refute faith and to stir up a torrent capable of slaying gods. The children of humankind, known as the Chrysos Heirs, shall pluck the gods' core flames and once more uphold the world. Only to inscribe the opening stroke in the poem of creation.
Days long, you let me see thy heart was beacon in the dark.
To be crafted
Can't be killed in a single.
and philosophers are born, producing countless sages in the past. Among them, one sage uses himself as a sword when questioning reason, rending falsehoods, and igniting the flames of truth. The reality of this world is unveiled through him. On this episode of Keeping Up with Star Rail, let us approach one of the 7 sages of the Grove of Epiphany, Anaxa, the Demise Scholar. Anaxa is a wind character following the path of erudition. He is gentle in nature and stern as a teacher. But if you really don't understand, he can also beat some sense into you. A little bit. When using basic attack, Anaxa deals wind damage to one designated enemy. The trace Roaming Signifier allows Anaxa's basic attack to additionally regenerate some energy. When using his skill, Anaxa firstly deals wind damage to one designated enemy, followed by multiple instances of wind damage to one random enemy unit. These instances will prioritize bouncing to enemy targets that have not yet been hit by his skill. It's worth mentioning that his skill will deal more damage when more enemies are on the field. I thought Professor Anaxa was just an elegant scholar. I didn't expect him to be such an expert in combat.
The professor believes that the pursuit of knowledge shouldn't be limited to books. Only experimentation can generate the truth.
I know it's all about powerful persuasion.
True, the professor always persuades opponents as gently as a breeze caressing the face.
After Anaxa hits an enemy target once, he applies one weakness of a random type to the target for several turns. When a target possesses enough weaknesses, it will enter the qualitative disclosure state, and Anaxa will deal more damage to it. After Anaxa uses his basic attack or skill on targets in qualitative disclosure, he will additionally use one instance of his skill on the target without consuming skill points. It's worth noting that the trace Roaming Signifier causes Anaxa to immediately regenerate energy if there are no enemy targets in qualitative disclosure at the start of a turn. But even the most fearsome enemies are just alchemical components for Professor Anaxa.
That's an honor not easily bestowed upon any enemy.
An honor indeed. The trace Imperative Hiatus will provide different buffs depending on how many erudition characters are in the ally team. Example, when Anaxa is the only erudition character in the team, his own crit damage becomes enhanced. If at least one other erudition character is present in the team alongside Anaxa, all allies' damage is boosted. When he uses his ultimate, Anaxa inflicts sublimation on all enemies. While in sublimation, 7 weakness types will be implanted in enemies simultaneously, lasting until the start of the enemy's turn. And he will also deal wind damage to all enemies. That's impressive! Still, for a scholar to be armed with such a deadly weapon.
That's a teaching tool, Birdie. It makes sense for a teacher to carry their tools with them.
When using his technique, Anaxa inflicts terror fight on enemies within a set radius, causing them to flee from him like the cowards they are! Actively attacking weakness. After entering battle, every enemy target will be inflicted with the weakness of the attacker's type for several turns. I wonder if Professor Anaxa is as fast.
Well, they'd be running for their lives, for sure.
Okay, let's sum it up. A truly great scholar never seeks breakthroughs. They create breakthroughs. Professor Anaxa is good at adding weaknesses to enemies and judging them accordingly. All of his attacks can add new weaknesses to the enemy. And after an enemy has enough weaknesses, his damage dealt to the enemy further increases as well as triggering one extra skill. He has frequent AoE attacks and has the ability to implant many weaknesses in enemies, allowing him to support his team in managing different kinds of battles. All right, Professor Anaxa may be strict, but it's still an honor for students to study under him. what kind of test the professor has proposed. This test has an amazing lineup of examiners, including a famous examiners need to figure out how to stack this true genius's interpretation as soon as possible. As for how, let's watch Professor Anaxa's performance. For battle, the enemy already has a set stack of interpretation on them, despite already making trouble for the examiners. But there aren't enough interpretation stacks yet. Thankfully, Professor Anaxa is making his move. He uses his ultimate to inflict sublimation on all enemies, adding 7 weakness types to them, and also inflicting qualitative disclosure. Professor Anaxa shows no mercy while facing enemies in qualitative disclosure, following with his skill after using his basic attack. This string of attacks applies many stacks of interpretation on the enemy. However, there are still some weaknesses on the students, so qualitative disclosure isn't gone yet. Professor Anaxa uses his skill and triggers his talent's additional effect, once again adding many stacks of interpretation to help the omniscient and omnipotent true genius.
The proof you wanted.
As expected, this is the moment when the flame chase journey is the closest to its end. I see. In that case, let the show begin. Straight to the soul. An undisputed victory. Fusing a mortal soul with that of a titan to replace a ludicrous idea, after all. It is day. Cipher the truth of this world. Only pursuit is chapter.
Stagnant life.
Citizens of Akama, heed my those with unwill receive Kephaly's protection from me shall not be allowed to take root here.
Faith offers no refuge to those lost in ignorance. The sacrilegious flame has likewise kindled the forge of discovery. It shall unmake the divine and serve me. Purge the ignorance visage of truth.
The gods rain fury upon you!
And what of it?
The gods shall scorn your spirit.
I already do. The gods' love for humankind is a childish fantasy. Cast aside this naivety. This body has long been tempered by near ruin. But reason, desire, and passion will always reignite the burning fire within my soul! Gods, decry it as blasphemy, if that is all you can do. For in truth, that is your fear. Yes, I, Anaxagoras, proclaim it with absolute certainty. We alone are the true gods of this world!
Has been arrested.
After it's over.
Fine enough, Ides Elysiae. What is your dream?
They would be...
You like this one? Romance and reason? Working together as an